only moments ago, Mr. Godo made the following statement. It seems Mr. Elk correctly applied some of his medication when he was at Tribulations. If that's the case, why was the medication not found at the scene of the crime?
But the medication in question was for topical use inside the ear canal.
That doesn't change the fact it could not be found at the crime scene. However insignificant it may seem, it's a lawyer's duty to pursue the truth.
You know as well as I do that the medication is irrelevant. It hardly seems likely a prescription drug will contain potassium cyanide.
It hardly seems likely the coffee the waitress served would contain it either. But it did. The possibility is undeniable.
That's enough. Mr. Godo, is the detective the only witness the prosecution wishes to call? Mr. Godo?
I've got my own witness I'd like to call, sir. It's the old man who was there at the restaurant the day of the murder. Victor Kudo, the pigeon hater.
Very well. The matter of the disappearing medication seems little more than trivial at best. However, it wasn't explored at all in the previous trial, and that's something that bothers me.
Yay, good job, Nick.
The court will adjourn for a 10-minute recess, after which we'll hear the prosecution's next witness. I suppose this means I'll just have to finish you off in my last 6 cups. Court is adjourned for recess.
Phew, that was close. Tell me about it. I nearly died in there. That's my line, sir. No, it's my line. I think I really did die a little bit. Looks like we nearly all died in there. I can't believe Detective Gumshoe. How could he betray me last night like that? Huh? He said he'd help me. He's totally set me up. I don't think he meant to do that, Maggie. He was backed into a corner. The guy's got to do his job, right? It's okay. I know all about lies and betrayal. I've had them my whole life. But it really hurt this time. I felt like someone punched me hard in the stomach. I hate that guy. I don't want to ever see him again. Poor Gumshoe. So the next witness is going to be that old guy from the park, right? Yeah, Mr. Kudo. Lover of waitress outfits and projectile seeds. I bet he's going to be really stubborn. I mean, he's pretty set in his ways, you know. Yeah, he's a big old grouch. You going to be able to handle him, Nick? Yeah, I can take whatever he throws at me, even though it's never-ending bird seeds. Somehow I don't think it'll be Phoenix getting him to talk, considering how the last meeting went. Dirty old bastard.
Court will now reconvene for the trial of Maggie Bird. Mr. Godo, your next witness, please. The prosecution courts the lucky old-timer who caught the show over a cup of coffee. Will the witness please take the stand? Name and occupation, if you don't mind.
Name's Victor Kudo, born and bred in the land of the rising sun. Honour and duty are what make me, mind you, and I can be quite emotional at times too. Don't need to hear about that, Mr. Kudo. Please just tell the court your occupation. My occupation? Ah, listen, young'un. How much call do you think there is for Camino? Okay. How much call do you think there is for Camino embroidery here?
Camino embroidery?
That's what I do, or did back in Japan. I embroidered family crests on kimonos. My ancestors were embroidering kimonos before the country even existed. Wow, a real craftsman. They're a dying breed. Maybe he could embroider my costume sometime. Anyway, like I said, there's not much demand for that kind of thing here. So I had to take a job working a cash register at a burger joint, pretending to smile. That burger joint would have been better off putting him in the kitchen.
Now then, witness. Were you in the restaurant at the time of the incident?
Oh yes, I was eating some seeds over a cup of Javashino.
Seeds?
What do you think these are,
I see. So you saw everything that happened, Gramps?
Did I? Oh yes, I saw it all.
Then please tell the court. We're all ears.
Sure, I'll tell you every last detail.
Would somebody lance that fucking nose, please? He's really getting into this.
The young man was reading the sports paper. The serving girl brought him a Javashino, but she put something in it.
That doesn't look like the back of Maggie's head to me.
The man took one sip of it, looked like he was in terrible pain and collapsed. That's the serving girl right there in the defender's chair. I remember her well.
Do you fuck? Mr. Kudo, she's not a serving girl. Please refer to her as a waitress.
Ah, you're as bad as the rest of them. All these newfangled words. What's wrong with the old-fashioned ones,
Newfangled?
All this talk of radios and glasses. It's wireless and spectacles, I tell you.
Excuse me?
Now listen to me, everyone. Don't forget the old values. Don't let the good old days slip away.
Well, I think it's time to begin the cross-examination, Mr. Wright.
Yes, Your Honor.
So you saw the victim then? You saw Mr. Glenn Elg?
I wanted to know if Gustem Braun retained his championship or not.
So he was looking at the sports paper the victim was reading, huh? And that the location in question... There are partitions between the tables of the same side of the restaurant, right?
So what if there are?
If you say you could see the victim, that would mean you were sitting on the table the other side of the restaurant, correct?
I go to that place to drink cappuccino. I don't go to sit. I don't remember which table I was sitting at.
You mean you go there to either waitress... Mr. Kudo, that's a very grave accusation. Are you sure about what you saw?
Victor Kudo never makes mistakes. I dot every T and cross every I.
I see.
My eyesight's fine. The doctor said I only need spectacles for reading and driving.
I bet his eyes are only really fine when he's scoping a waitress.
And I saw the serving girl put in the Javachino as well.
I bet I know what's coming up, and something tells me I'm not going to like it. Your Honour, we need more clarification on what was put into the victim's coffee. I'd like to ask the witness add what he knows about this to his testimony. I agree. Witness, will you enlighten us, please?
Sure. There's no question about it. She very conspicuously put some white powder in there.
Did she really put it into the coffee?
You doubt me, boy? She took it into a small brown bottle and sprinkled it in.
Couldn't she have been adding sugar?
Sugar? In a small brown bottle like that?
Like that? Witness, can you please describe the bottle in more concrete terms? Huh. A bottle like this, perhaps?
Oh, there it is. That's the one.
That's the bottle of potassium cyanide, I assume. So what did the accused put in the coffee? I think it's clear, don't you? Ah. He took just one sip.
You young'uns, you waste everything. Those Jammachinos cost $8. And good old David drank every last drop, eaten the cup, and then died.
Congratulations, you've earned the title of battiest man to grace a courtroom. So it was an immediate death. Well, with potassium cyanide, I suppose it's possible.
Oh yes, he slumped over without so much as a twitch. I felt the Jamachino and I just drank to sour in my stomach.
Oh yes, I know that feeling. And the waitress, I presume she is... You said I remember her well in reference to the waitress. Did she have any particular features you can identify her by?
Particular features? It's a disgrace is what it is.
Sorry.
You can see all the way up to her. You know. She's pretty naked in that uniform.
So the particular feature you recognise about the waitress is her outfit. Anyone can wear such a uniform, even me. Don't put that image out there, Phoenix. Mr. Wright, please spare the court of any further mental anguish from that image. Don't get all excited, Nick. You gotta keep yourself together. Oh, I guess I got a bit carried away.
Nah, there's other things I recognise about her too.
She seems pretty sure of herself. What should I do? Sure, you saw a waitress take a coffee over to the victim. But what matters is whether or not that waitress was Maggie Bird or not. Quite right. Mr. Kudo, these other features you recognise about the defendant, I would ask you to add them to your testimony.
Sure. A ribbon in her hair and her apron straps were loose.
You do seem to remember several details about her appearance, but what about the most crucial detail of all? Her face.
As if I wouldn't remember that.
The witness noticed the straps on the accused's apron. He's unlikely to make a mistake about her face.
That's right, I can even tell you the colour of the ribbon in her hair. It was red.
Looks orange to me, but okay. So you see, there's nothing wrong with the witness's eyesight. There's no doubt he remembers the waitress pretty well. What should I do? I get a feeling there's something more to this somehow. Mr. Kudo, you seem especially interested in straps. Why is that?
What?
The ribbon in her hair, the straps on her apron. What's the fascination?
Fascination?
People of all kinds of fetishes tried. We don't need to embarrass the witness.
Listen, you young upstarts, I haven't got some sick strap fetish.
Is there any relevance to the witness's unusual love of straps, Mr. Wright? I was just curious as to why he was so fixated on the waitress's straps.
I said I haven't got a fetish. How many times do I have to repeat myself?
Very well, continue with your testimony, Mr. Kudo, and make it strapless. You think old CD really saw Maggie do it? Well, he probably had his eye on the waitress the whole time. That's why he was there.
but he's there for the cute outfits, right? Not the waitress. I guess. She makes a good point, though. Hey, did I just say something clever? I wonder if the waitress Mr. Kudo saw really was Maggie. That's what we have to figure out, Nick.
Objection!
Right, get back to the other question, please. The identifying features you described are all things you would see from the back. So what? Is it possible that you never saw the waitress from the front at all?
Objection!
He's got you there, Gramps.
People normally talk about facial features when they're asked to describe someone. But this witness's testimony is nothing but straps and ribbons. This is harassment! I told you I'm not obsessed with rabbits or straps or ribbons. I'm just telling you what I saw.
Mr. Kudo, the court requests you add details about any identifying features you observed from the front, that is, to your testimony.
Sure. This old man's testimony is getting longer and longer. And if I can't find a hornet soon, I'll get even longer, I'll bet. There wasn't anything that caught my interest about her when I saw her from the front. Not even so much as a pair of glasses or a stained apron. You didn't find anything to be distinct, but you clearly saw the witness's face, yes? No question about it. I ain't come this far to back down now. Victor Kudo never backs down. That's not the answer I was looking for, but okay. This is only a matter of pride for old Seeley now, I guess. I wonder if he really did see Maggie's face or not. Like I thought, we need some concrete proof of this. Proof the old guy didn't see the waitress killing from the front. Think old Seeley really saw Maggie do it? Right, okay. I think an apron this messy would leave an impression, don't you?
Objection!
Mr. Kudo, I would like you to please take a look at this. Ah, that filthy thing would suit filth like you just perfectly. Actually reminds me of what my grandson looks like after he's done eating. Have you ever seen this before? Of course I haven't. Why do you think I'd ever get something as dirty as that, huh? Well, you half-wit clod. What? What is it? Ever since I said you half-wit clod, there's been eerie silence in here. Mr. Kudo, this apron is the apron worn by the defendant on the day of the poisoning. And as you just said yourself, you wouldn't forget something like this. Which means if you'd really seen this apron before... Yes, you know what I'm getting at. You couldn't have possibly seen the waitress from the front. Oops.
Witness! You can't just oops your way out of this! Well. Looks like we finally have a genuine trial on our hands. Listen, Trite, here are the facts. On the day of the incident, there was only one waitress in the restaurant. That being the defendant, Miss Maggie Bird? Exactly. And when that one waitress put the poison into the coffee cup, this old guy was watching. I hope you understand the gravity of the situation, Mr. Kudo. The fate of the defendant may well rest on what you remember seeing. Just tell the court exactly what you saw, Gramps.
You can rely on me, Captain. This noggin's in perfect working order. I can remember a single occasion when I forgot what burger a customer wanted.
Can't remember. Probably like he messed up so many times he's blocking it out.
Very well. Let's test just how good your memory and attention to detail is, Mr. Kudo. Tell us what you remember about the victim.
Excuse me.
He was another of those pesky young types wearing a broken pair of spectacles. He had a newspaper in his right hand, and the noisy brat kept rustling its pages. The young man was listening to the wireless, I remember that well. And the serving girl in question brought over the Javachino. The little fidget picked up the cup with his free hand and took a sip.
The testimony we've just heard was to test how credible the witness's memory is. Seems to me he remembers the victim in great detail.
Yes, I hate those you-know-what types who are so vague about everything.
How are we going to handle this, Nick? We need only one thing. We need to prove the old man's memory's shot. Just tripping up, you mean? Isn't that kind of cruel? I suppose, but it's what I do best. Right hand, huh? The lip mark. He would have had to have had the cup in his right hand. The newspaper was a sports paper, was it?
The young hooligan. I nearly asked him, can't you even read it without fidgeting, huh? I was supposed to be able to read the back page of all the wrestling going on. I need to find out if Gustav Braun retained this championship title.
It was his paper, not yours. If you wanted to know so bad, why don't you buy your own?
What are you looking at me like that for, huh? How dare you judge me?
Ow! Ow! Gustav Braun got beaten yesterday, by the way. Anyway. Okay, that was too hasty. Spectacles.
Dark glasses to you. One of the lenses was green, but the other was broken. Newfangled rubbish, that's why I remember him so well.
He did have some kind of lens over his left eye. I wouldn't have called it a pair of glasses.
He seems to be wearing some rather modern-looking shades. Perhaps I should take to wearing some. A rival to Mr. Godo's sharp appearance.
Better come up with something sharp and quick. Guess I'll wait and see if I should challenge him about the spectacles. The wireless.
The decadent young rascal. In my day, it was either one or the other. Read the paper or listen to the wireless.
Oh boy.
Using an earpiece, it's selfish is what it is. I was straining my ears but couldn't catch any of it.
Was he that desperate to listen to the radio?
Why you look at me like that, huh? How dare you feel sorry for him, huh?
Ow! You mean the waitress who you only saw from behind, right?
You're one of these, are you? You never let anything go, is that right?
Maybe.
What does it matter if I saw her from the front or the behind? My eyes don't lie.
I better not push until I've got some hard evidence. There we go, that's what I needed to do it on. Mr. Kudo, do you remember what you were told at the start of this testimony? This was a way of testing your credibility on your memory.
I know, there's nothing wrong in my memory, I tell you nothing. If I got anything wrong, I'll eat these seeds and sing the pigeon song.
Care to tell us where this is going, trite? According to Mr. Kudo, the victim was holding the newspaper in his right hand, while drinking coffee with his free hand, which would make that his left.
What is this, kindergarten?
I'd like the court to please take a look at this.
That's the cup the victim used, correct?
Yes, and on the rim you'll notice the mark left by the victim's lips.
Yes, there's a stain left by the coffee.
If you consider where the stain is, you'll clearly see the victim was holding the cup in his right hand.
But how?
Well, Mr. Kudo, the court is waiting on your epic performance. You said you'd eat those seeds and sing the pigeon song.
Ah!
Mr. Kudo, I'm afraid this is simply not acceptable. I think the waitress had better go...
Wait! If you think I'm going to stand here and listen, you tell me I'm mad, you're wrong. I don't care about what the dirty coffee cup. I know what I saw.
You still insist on your testimony?
That young brat was holding the cup in his left hand. Oh yes, no question. I'm a good law-abiding citizen, I am. If that dead young hotbod and you spunky-head yahoo are at fault.
Who, me?
Thank you, old man. We've had quite enough of you already.
Don't call me old man, old man. Been around for 68 years, I have. You can't ignore me. Listen to what I've got to say.
I'm sorry, Mr. Kudo, but... Sure, why not hear him a little more? Mr. Kudo!
But this is my 16th cup of coffee, so this is your final stand.
Thank you, Captain. You can rely on Victor.
He was looking in a mirror or some bullshit, wasn't he?
The boy was wearing the earpiece on the same side of the green lens of his specs. He kept fiddling with it all the time. Fiddling with it just before he picked up the cup, too. Then used the same hand to pick up the cup, his left hand.
We know the victim was wearing an unusual monocle over his left eye.
It wasn't a monocle, Your Honour. A small computer monitor often used by programmers.
A monitor? Like a television screen?
The inside of a lens is a screen that displays The inside of the lens is a screen that displays computer data. It's called an HMD, a common tool in the victim's line of work.
HD, TV, DVD, CD, all these newfangled letters drive me mad. They don't matter. I know what I saw and I'm telling the truth.
It's true, he doesn't seem to be lying.
Those are the facts. Good old black and white.
So the victim was wearing an HMD.
What does it matter?
It was none of them actually, but anyway. And you're sure it was wearing the same earpiece on the same side?
No question. I could only see the side of his head from where I was sitting.
Yeah, that's pretty obvious if you look at the floor plan. From the opposite table, you'd only have a view of the side of the victim's head.
He kept fiddling with it all the time.
It seems you kept an eye on Mr. Glenelg.
He was getting on my nerves. rustling that paper and fiddling with his earpiece all the time. Then he wouldn't have made all that fuss dying from a sip of Jamachino. I wanted to say to him, calm down, you young brat. Looking at it made me suddenly speed up my seed eating. I could have choked.
I take it the victim was a walking ball of nervous energy. The earpiece you mentioned, which hand did the victim touch it with?
You're one of those people, aren't you? The type that uses your left hand to get things out your right pocket. Or fastens your left cuff with your right hand. When the tour guide says, on your right side you'll see famous blah blah, you're the only one who deliberately looks left, well, aren't you?
No, I didn't mean...
Obviously you used the hand on the same side of the body that the earpiece was.
Ow! Ow! The HMD was on his left side and with his left hand, I guess. You seem very sure of yourself, Mr. Kudo.
That's because I know what I saw, no matter what tricks you're trying to play on me.
Looks like you really did see the guy pick up the cup with his left hand. This is a dead end.
Well, Nick, what do you think?
I think the guy's telling the truth, but even so, something's not quite right.
And chuck evidence at him till he breaks.
If he's not lying, there wouldn't be any contradictions in his testimony, right? Well, he couldn't be wearing it over the same ear because the eardrum was ruptured. He wouldn't be able to hear it in there. Right? I'm not sure the relevance of this is, but... Mr. Kudo, there's something very strange about your observation of the victim.
What?
You say he was wearing the earpiece on the same side of his HMD.
No question, you can lock me up if I'm wrong. It was his left ear without a doubt. I could only see the side of his head from where I was sitting.
I don't think so.
What did you say?
You're no doubt unaware of this fact, Mr. Kudo, but the victim couldn't hear with his left ear. His eardrum was ruptured. Traces of the medications for his condition were found in his ear canal. It's impossible that the victim was wearing his earpiece over his left ear, because he couldn't even hear in that ear.
Is that true, Captain?
It is.
Pigeon! Pretty pigeon!
Order! 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 This witness's testimony is completely unreliable. He only saw the waitress from behind and claims the victim was wearing an earpiece when we know his eardrum was ruptured. Well, Mr. Godo? A single drop of milk is all it takes to destroy the pure black magic in the cup. This old man is my drop of milk.
Captain, are you calling me a drip?
This is the victim's coffee cup in which the potassium cyanide was found. The mark on the rim clearly shows the victim picked it up with his right hand.
I'll never back down, I know I'm right. The lad drank the Jamachino with his left hand.
Let me put you out of your misery. Clearly the victim used both hands. He took a sip of the cup held in his right hand and then switched to his left. That's what the old man saw. Impossible. The witness has already testified on numerous occasions the victim died immediately after taking just one sip of the coffee. Which hand the victim used to pick up his cup is irrelevant, Your Honour. The facts still stand. With one hand or the other, Mr. L drank the poisoned coffee like this. Sadly, Mr. Godo, that doesn't wash. The point of this testimony was to establish whether the witness's memory is credible. And the results are clear. The testimony given by this witness is useless. I believe it's time to conclude today's proceedings. I'm satisfied the witness is not deceiving the court. But to be frank, his testimony is a farce.
Did you have to be so frank? Take that, you pompous old fogey!
I'm sorry, Mr. Kudo, you can't reach me from there. I'm ordering the defence and the prosecution to investigate the case further. That is all for now. Court is adjourned.
Wait! If we stop now, where does that leave me?
Leave you, Mr. Kudo?
Thanks for that blue-suited young upstart over there. I'm just a bumbling old man who can't even dot his T's or cross his I's now.
How's your bad memory my fault? I'm sorry, Mr. Kudo, but there's nothing I can do.
I kept my mouth shut until now, but there's something else the court should know.
What? There's more?
To be perfectly honest, it might not be anything. But I want to have a chat. I want to have a crack at you, you young shark.
Me? He's looking at me like I'm some sort of evil shogun.
Well, everyone, what do you say to one final showdown? The final chapter in the eccentric old man's scrapbook.
Sorry, Gramps. I've already had my 17th cup of coffee.
What have you got to lose, Captain? I'll give you all the Gamachino you want if you come to my house after the trial. I may be 68 years old, but Victor Kudo's still a man.
That's enough, witness. I believe it will be quicker for the court to just hear your testimony.
You bet. Much quicker.
I can't believe this is happening.
You better get ready, youngster.
I get the picture. Just quit throwing those seeds at me, would ya? He's going to be using some sort of infinite ammo code with that box of seeds.
First of all, I want to stress this might be nothing. I'm not too sure of myself. The young boy slumped over the table as soon as he took one sip of his Jamachino. The clumsy idiot upset the vase and knocked it right over. It broke and the strip of cloth covering the table got completely soaked. Well, how about that? Turn things upside down, huh?
Is that all?
Yes, that's all. I remember it perfectly. You're doubting me again? You're doubting a poor defenseless old man?
No, we're not doubting you, Mr. Kudo.
Don't you get the feeling there's a question hanging on everyone's lips, Nick?
Yeah, so what, probably. That's all I can think of, and I have to cross-examine this guy.
You're a bird brain, that's why it's all you can think of.
Oh, very well. Mr. Wright, your final cross-examination, please. The court generally prefers if the witnesses are sure of themselves, Mr. Kudo.
Noisy brat! I'm warning you, I'm more than savage than a macho man right now.
Oh, yeah!
You won't beat me with this testimony, this is the final battle!
Ow! He's chucking those seeds harder than ever. I better be careful. Come on, Nick, nail him. court already heard that testimony, Mr. Kudo.
I know that, I'm just setting a mood. How else am I supposed to build suspense,
The suspense?
Now what do you think? Should I work the audience a bit more?
No, please continue, Mr. Kudo, as quickly as possible.
Alright, where was I? Yes, the umpire stood over the table and upset the vase.
A vase, you say?
Yes, there were vases on all the tables in that place. There are accidents waiting to happen, practically begging to be knocked over.
Well, he's right about there being vases. I do remember seeing them too. There was a vase on the table when I ate lunch there. And you saw the moment the victim actually knocked over the vase?
Well, it's hard to say. It's a bit unclear. How do you really define?
Okay, I get it.
I heard it break.
And the
Sight of it burned into my memory as clear as day.
soaked in water, you mean?
Yes, splashed me on the knee as well.
You see, you were sitting on a table across the room from the victim, correct? Yet the water still managed to splash onto you?
It was cold. I can't remember it splashing me.
Can the water really make it all the way across to the other side of the room? You mean the vase on the victim's table falling upside down and breaking?
The vase turned upside down. My testimony turned the case upside down. It's a joke. I just want everyone to hear it. What do you think, Captain?
I'm impressed by your ability to waste time.
Gato hasn't raised any objections for a while now.
So young show off with that scrap of information. I'm throwing down the gauntlet. If I lose this one, I'll take it like a man and admit defeat.
He's really giving you the evil eye, Maya. It's you he's looking at, Nick, not me. It's like he's saying I tripled our day to find a contradiction, young'un. Guess I'll have to raise to the challenge then. Let's have a look. Knocked over my arse. Mr. Kudo, this is a photograph of the crime scene.
So what?
Look carefully at the table. The vase is there, intact.
Huh?
Lost your tongue, Grandad?
I'm no granddad of yours, hopscotch.
Ow!
Enough! If you throw any more seeds in this courtroom, the cleaners will be here all night.
Ah,
What is it now?
I just remembered something.
Yes, go on.
The broken vase. It was on my table.
What?
Well, you see, it stopped me when the young lad collapsed, so I stood up. That must have been when it fell over. The vase on my table, I mean.
The vase on your table.
Yeah, it was on my table. And that's how my groin came to be completely soaked.
Get the fuck out of here, old man.
Thank you, Mr. Kudo. You've certainly earned your kudos for today.
I'd like to ask a question now. Have I, been of any use at all?
Perhaps that's something you should reflect on yourself, Mr. Kudo.
Well, wait a minute. If that's the case, there's more I've got to say. Yes, I remember something else.
Bailiff! Escort the witness out of this courtroom.
Wait, listen to me!
Well, we seem to have been considerably sidetracked. I'm still not in a position to deliver a verdict. The defendant has not been positively identified as the waitress in question. Additionally, there are 2 disparities in the testimony we've heard thus far.
The mark on the coffee cup and the victim supposedly drank from his left hand. And the earpiece, which was inserted into his left ear, out of which he couldn't hear. Wow, Nick, you did it.
I therefore require both the defence and prosecution to further investigate the facts.
Yes, Your Honour.
There's one more thing before I call today's session to an end.
One more thing, Your Honour.
The witness we just heard from, he's most insistent that his testimony should be of use. Here it is summarised accordingly to this statement.
Okay.
You may each have a copy of it if you wish.
Whatever. The prosecution doesn't need props like that. Godo's really mad, huh? Yes, I would be too.
Very well. Here you are then, Mr. Wright. There are 3 copies, my own, yours and Mr. Godo's.
Yes, Your Honour. When the incident occurred, I broke the vase at my seat. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This isn't a piece of testimony, it's more like a 5-year-old's apology. What the heck are we supposed to do with 3 copies?
That's all. Court is adjourned.